to encourage you about your life. So today is going to be a good one. So welcome to Wedding Wednesday. I'm glad that you're here. Let's jump in, let's pray, and then let's chit chat for a little bit. Father, thank you for this day that you have given to us, that you've made for us to rejoice and be glad in. Thank you for the opportunity to share the wonderful experience of this wedding season that I'm experiencing. Thank you for the lessons that I'm learning and what I'm able to share with others to encourage their life, not only in their relationships, but in every aspect of a life. I pray that today would be a blessing to somebody, that their life would be changed, that they would be encouraged, that they would move to another level. And we thank you in advance for being here, your presence and your blessings. Amen. All right. So, Michelle, good to see you. In whole, good to see you. Sophia, good to see you. So good to see everybody. I'm glad that you're here again. Wedding Wednesday. So today we're going to talk about your commitment and how that commitment can change your entire life. And today was a great day. Today we went to the wedding venue, and we solidified things. So we go in, we have our papers, and today's the day we're going to go in and we're going to start finalizing some things. So we're talking to our coordinator and the gentleman that's helped us to put together the venue and get the venue secured. And so he's sharing with us, asking us questions about what we want, right? And that's been a common theme for every Wedding Wednesday. I've been letting you know one of the major themes in life when you want to transform your life is it's going to come back to the question that you have to answer, which is, what do you want? What do you want? This question has been everywhere. Everywhere we've gone in this process, from the cake to the venue itself, to the type of food that we wanted, to outfits, everything comes back to the question, what do you want? And so when you're looking at your life, that's a question that you get to ask. And tonight it's about saying I do. Tonight is a say I do night. And I'm going to challenge you in this night to make some commitments, right? You know I love you. You know I care about you. You know I show up to share with you and to encourage you. But there's also the time when somebody who has their arm around you has to say, okay, look, now's the time for you to make a commitment. Now's your moment to step into that different aspect, that different area of life, for you to go to that next level. If you want something different, you need to do something different. And so tonight is a commitment night where you get to make a commitment to yourself. And so today, when we were at the venue, we were discussing all the details. What type of tables, what type of table linen do we want? How is the ceremony going to be set up? Who's going to be sitting where? And so we're starting to lay out all these different aspects of this particular moment in time that we're getting ready to have. And one of the things that I think is really exciting and really, it's been very much a lesson learned during this process, is that we are doing a lot of planning for this particular moment. We had to first envision the moment, right? We had to see something that didn't exist. We started to imagine it. We just started thinking about what we wanted a moment to look like. And over the past few days, we've talked about this in our lives, how when you want to change your life, when you want to see transformation in your life, one of the things that you must do is have vision, right? You get to look out beyond where you are right now. Vision is so important, because without it, people perish. Without vision, that people get wiped out. And so when you're looking at your life and you're saying, I want change to happen. I want something different from my life. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to go to a new level. Well, there's going to be a requirement, and that requirement is going to be vision. What is your vision? What do you see for yourself? And tonight, like, I just want to encourage you that you right now, in whatever condition that you're in, whatever state that you're in, you can have a vision that will change everything. When you start that, when we started the process a few months ago and we start looking at a venue, we start thinking about what we want. It started with, what do we see? What do we want? What do we want this experience to be? And so we get to ask ourselves that question, whether it's in a romantic relationship, whether it's with our health and wellness, whether it's our spiritual development, whether it's with your finances and your professional endeavors, your business ideas. You get to ask yourself and answer the question, what do you want? What do you see? What do you see? What's your vision? What do you see? And so we've been envisioning for the last several months. The moment hasn't shown up yet. So all we've been doing, not all we've been doing, but a lot of what we've been doing has been vision. We're dreaming. And while we're dreaming, while we're thinking, while we're envisioning a moment that has not yet appeared, guess what else? We start doing the activities and work that are going to lead us in that particular area. Right. And so it can be little things. My bride to be, the other day, she showed up and I walked into the house and she was there and she was putting together a card box. Right. And so it had all these like different pieces, real pretty little box. And she's putting together a box for the cards that if people are going to give us cards, there's a place for the cards to go. Well, so she's seeing a moment in the future. And she says, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm building the box right now. In case in our future, someone wants to give us a card, I'm building the box. And so the great thing about your life is that when you decide, it's this decision, when you decide that you are going to see something different for your life, it will then help to direct your activities. When we decided we're getting married, it started to direct our activities. I remember the one day she called me. She was out with her dad. They were out riding around. They were talking. And she starts calling me. Hey, we went and we saw a couple wedding venues. Why did she do that? She did that because we decided we were going to get married. So she started looking for wedding venues. See, your decision is triggering your next action. And right now you feel like, oh, I'm so stuck. I'm so stuck in where I am. I want things to be different. I know I'm made for more. I know there's more possibility for my life. And what's holding you up, in part, is that either you don't have a vision, you haven't created a vision enough that inspires you, that actually breathes into you, that causes you to move, or you have a vision and you haven't taken any action. Those two things right there, if you do those two things, if you say, I have a vision, something that inspires me, it's a vision, what I call a vision of actionable appeal. Oftentimes I'll say it's an aspiration of actionable appeal, meaning the thought that you are thinking is so good to you that you want to take action. You see, we can have ideas and we don't move on them, and then they're just passing thoughts. Right? But when we actually have the vision and then we start allocating time and allocating resources and effort towards it, it starts us moving in that direction. But you have to decide. There's no being on the fence. We weren't having a conversation. Are we going to get married? Aren't we going to get married? No. I made the proposal. I got down on one knee. I opened the ring box and I presented to her. Will you marry me? She says, I will, for real, marry you. So she made that decision. She said she will. Okay. So we make the decision and then everything starts moving. Everything starts changing because that one action, that one commitment, that one decision to commit changes everything. We talked about this on Saturday, how you can have a vision, but you also need to allocate time. And one of the things that we say, what do we say? Oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to do it. I don't have time. That is the worst. That's the worst excuse. Because, and I pointed this out on Saturday, because if you look at your phone and you go into the apps and then you find out how much time you use on social media, if it's more than 5 minutes, if it's more than 10 minutes, if you average more than 10 minutes a day on social media, you have time. You have time. Even if you don't average 10 minutes on social media, you still have time. Now, the question is, are you willing to commit any amount of time to the vision that you see. And so let's start thinking about this through the lens of these two words. I do. Stop telling yourself that you don't. Oh, I don't have time. No, 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 no. Don't do that anymore. Listen, it's time for you to say I do to you, right? So that there's something that you want from your life. There's change that you want to see in your life. So first, don't try to start doing stuff. Don't just start doing, but first say I do to the vision. I do have a vision. Start there. Start with the vision. I do have a vision. So if someone says, "Do you have a vision?" You can say, "I do. I do." It's time for you to say, "I do more." You need to say, "I do more" to yourself, to what's going on in your life, to what you desire in your heart. And as a person who is in real time going through a transformation with you, and I've been sharing it with you, I'm going through a transformation in real time. My life is changing in real time. It's transforming. I'm going from one situation, one state of being into another in real time. You know, the wedding is coming up. 30 days. It is. I wish I had my phone is I'm using it, but there's 30 days, right? I know that there's 30 days. And on my phone, I have it 30 days, however many hours, however many minutes, however many seconds. So it's on my phone. I look at it and I see it counting down, and it's telling me the exact date, the exact time, the exact moment that the wedding is going to start. See, here's a little secret, little hack. I don't really like using hacks, but this is something that you can do. Here's a practice. When you start to make your commitments, and you say, "I'm committed to this." Okay. I have a vision, and I'm going to say I do. I say I do to my vision. Then here's what you do. You go onto your phone and you go into the apps section and you download an app that lets you do an event calendar. Okay. So you go into your app, download an event calendar, and it'll let you schedule out whatever date it is. It'll let you put it in the events calendar. So you can put in your events calendar whatever date you want, and it'll give you a countdown. So I did that for the wedding. I said, okay, we're going to get married on this date. So I put it into the events calendar. And I've been watching the time every few days. I'll go back or I'll look at it, and it'll give me the specific time, the specific moment where the change that I've been dreaming about is going to happen. And see, the thing is, you can do that with anything in your life. You can decide that the transformation and the change that you want in your life, you can put a date on it. It's time for you to start dating your dreams. And when I say dating your dreams, I don't mean just be casual about them. When I say dating your dreams, what I'm saying to you is that it is time for you to put a date on the fulfillment of your dreams so that you can be fulfilled. That it doesn't have to be this someday in the future, but it can be that day in the future, that time in the future. I know June 27th, unless the Lord says otherwise, June 27th at 4:30, the wedding is going to commence. It's kicking off. June 27th, 4:30. I know. We set the date. We set the time. There's an intention. I know when the date is. I know when the moment is. I know when the dream, I know when the date of fulfillment is coming. And so the question is, if I ask you right now, do you know when your dreams will be fulfilled, when you will start to execute on the dream? Can you say, I do? Do you know? Your answer should be, I do. You've been wanting to change your body. Fantastic. What date will you begin your transformational program to change your body? What date are you committing to? Oh, I'm going to start going to the gym. What date are you committing to? What time are you going to go? Do you know that? Your answer should be, yeah, I do. I do. Because if you don't know, then you're leaving the dream in your heart. You're leaving the aspiration. You're leaving the inspiration for your life in some place of not knowing. It's just this place where it's just in limbo. Why would you do that to something that is so good? Bring it back to me for a second. Imagine if I told my bride to be, hey, I love you. This the thought of being with you and everything is just fantastic. And someday we'll get married. And I just left it at someday forever. Is she going to feel, is she going to feel secure in that? Day after day goes by, year after year goes by. And I just keep telling her, someday it'll happen. Someday. One day we're going to do it. One day. Is she going to feel secure in that? Absolutely not. She's not going to feel confident in that. And it's going to hurt the relationship in the long run because that confidence, her excitement is going to decrease. Her confidence, which means that word confident means with trust. She won't be operating with trust that it's going to happen. Why? Because I'm not committed. How do I know this? Because there was a time that I wasn't committed. There was a time that I said those words. Oh, yeah, we're going to get married one day. It'll happen one day. We're going to get married one day. I'm going to marry you one day. I was saying that. I used those actual words until I realized that I was the not committed guy. One day I'm sitting with myself and talking to myself, and I had this epiphany, this revelation. I said to myself out loud, I said, you're the not committed guy. And I'm talking to myself out loud. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're the not committed guy. My bride to be, and I've told you, I've shared this before. My bride to be, she was having a conversation with my niece, and my niece was asking her, "When are you going to marry Uncle Brian? Are you going to marry Uncle Brian? When are you going to marry Uncle Brian?" And so my niece is talking to her. She says, my bride to be says, she says, "I'll marry your uncle." She says, "When? When are you going to marry him?" And my bride's response was, "When he asked me." She said, "When he asked me, then I'll marry him." And I heard it. I was in the room when they were having the conversation. And so I started reflecting on that. I was replaying that conversation in my head, and I was listening to the fact that she said, "I will marry him, but there's a condition. He has to ask me." In other words, she was saying he has to articulate that he is making this commitment. And I realized that I was afraid. I was like, all right, I'm afraid. That's why I'm the not committed guy, because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of being hurt. So I'm actually operating as the not committed guy. I'm cool with us being friends. We get along great. We do life together. It's wonderful. But because I'm afraid, I'm not committing, because as long as we stay in this place of friendship, I'm safe. And so when I had a real hard conversation with myself, and I said to myself, "You're the not committed guy." I started unpacking that. Why? Well, because you're afraid. And that's keeping you from making a commitment. Some of you have some shame in your past. You may have had failure in your past. I've been there. I've had failures in my past, right? And so that shame can rob you from making a commitment. You're afraid of what's going to go wrong. So you're afraid of making the commitment because you're like, I can make a fool out of myself. What if it all goes wrong? That can happen. That's one side of the coin. I was thinking that. I was thinking, if I make this commitment and everything goes wrong, then what? Oh man, I don't want to set my life back like that. Blah blah blah. I'm going through and having that. But there was another part of me that asked this question: what if you making the commitment exposes you and gives you the opportunity to have the life that you dream about, the life that you desire in your heart? What if, in making the commitment, you open up the opportunities that will allow you to have the life that you dream about? And so as I started thinking that way and I started smiling, I was like, yeah, that's I want I want the life more than I want the fear. And so here's my question to you. Which do you want more? Do you want the life that you dream about or the fear that's keeping you from that life? Which one do you want more? Because when you start having real conversations with yourself, then you start to get real answers. Having conversations with yourself when you're not letting yourself off the hook, it'll help you. See, I ask myself questions such as, if today was your last day, what would you regret? Would you regret not taking the step? Would you regret not making the proposal? Would you regret that? I was asking myself, if someone comes along and she leaves and goes off with them, are you going to regret that you didn't take your shot? And you start answering yourself like truthfully. When you hear those answers, it will help you make your decision. See, sometimes you're afraid. I'm afraid that my idea is not going to work. I, I've been to the gym so many times. I've started so many workout programs, and I've never followed through with them. So you're now convinced that's your lot in life. You're a failure. I've never tried a business before, and I'm afraid that if I try this business, I'll fail. So now you're like, I'm processing through that lens. And so when you process through that lens of failure, you are going to be more inclined to find reasons not to move. You're going to find reasons to say, I don't, instead of saying, I do. But this is why vision is so important. Because once you create a vision, once you have a vision, here's what vision is going to do. Vision is going to, and let's just think about like children here. When you start to dream, right, just daydream. We don't even have to be deep and call it vision. Let's call it daydreaming or night dreaming. When you're dreaming about your idea, about your thought, about what you want in life, and you're conjuring up images, creating images, which then start to create feelings. See, and let me just help you, because when you create your feelings based upon fear, then those images of things that are not going to work out, they're going to create fear. Then that's a feeling. You're like, I'm afraid. Why? Because I've been thinking about all these scary things and how things are not going to work. So you're already, let me help you here. You're already a visionary. The issue that you have is that you're a visionary towards the negative. You're a visionary for the undesirable outcome. But you're already a visionary. You just envision things that work against you. This is the same thing that when in training programs, right? Someone wants to change their body. And so often, many of the women that I've worked with, they'll make the statement, "Oh, I'm just not disciplined." That's not true. It's not that you're not disciplined. You are disciplined. You're just disciplined towards the undesirable outcome. All of your disciplines are leading you towards what you don't want. So discipline's not the issue. You're just dancing with the wrong partner. So now today, what we get to do is we get to, in this very moment, we get to create vision that changes our entire life. You get to, when you create a vision, you get to create a different image of yourself. And that's the key to this whole, all of your life situations right now. What's going on in your life? You start creating a different vision for yourself. You start seeing yourself differently. See yourself like the way I see myself right now, right? I know I see myself in my future walking down the aisle. I see myself in my future being married. I see myself in the future in the wedding ceremony. I'm seeing myself in the future. I know I'm already that guy. I'm the married guy. I'm already wearing a ring, right? I've called it my engagement ring. I'm already wearing the ring. Why? Because I'm already married. I'm that guy. That's who I am. I'm moving towards a moment that is going to publicly announce it, but I'm already that guy. See, the seed of what people will see is already developing in me now. And the seed of your future, like the seed of your future self, is already in you right now. Right now, when you have a vision, let's do it like this. When you have a vision, you're looking at yourself as the tree with a lot of fruit, right? You're looking fruitful. Right now, you're the seed of that. So where's the tree? Where did God hide trees? God hid trees in seeds. And so when you start to have a vision, you are now saying, I'm going to take this seed and do something with it. I see the seed, I see this potential in my life as something greater. That is what vision does. Vision allows you to take a moment of time and think yourself into the future and see the fullness. You get to, that's what vision gets to do. You get to see yourself as your greater self, as your fulfilled self. You get to go into the future with vision, see it, and then you get to bring that vision back to yourself right now as the seed and begin orchestrating the pathway to get there. So when we saw the wedding, June 27th, 4:30, okay, we brought that vision back and then we started working on it. Oh, where are we going to have it? What are we going to wear? How are the tables going to be set? What's the color scheme going to be? Who's going to be sitting at what table? We started orchestrating. We've been orchestrating everything that's going to happen on this particular day. Not everything, but we're orchestrating the details of the moment. Now, the experience is going to be something that's all going to get colored in, but we're building the structure, we're building the framework because we have a vision. And so the question is, do you have a vision? The answer that you would give would be, I do. And if right now you don't, then it's time for you to set aside some time and say, I'm going to make a vision. Some people make vision boards, but you need to have a vision. If you really want to see your life transformed and changed, you need a vision. You need an idea. You need something that is in your future that is giving you a direction. Because if you don't, as you move forward, you're going to run into some problems. Because let me just tell you a little secret: the vision is going to cost you something. Here's what I found out. Here's what I know. What I know for certain and for sure is no matter what event that you have going on, right? So you go places, you go to the hotels and you go to the venues and talk to photographers and videographers and cake people. You talk to all these people, right? And if you want to go and get a cake or go to a venue or hire a photographer, they're going to give you a price. If you tell those same people that you are having a wedding, does anybody know what happens to the price? Do you have any idea what happens to the price when you tell someone that you're getting married? And you're like, we want to have a wedding. Yes, exactly. The price goes up. The price goes up. They know that you are so excited about that particular this particular moment in time that they say, oh no, those events that cost more because this means something to you. This has a lot of meaning to you. This isn't just you showing up because you want some cake because you want to go sit in your car and eat cake. Oh no. This is a special moment. This cake is going to be a different kind of cake and it's going to cost more. Because this cake has your hopes and dreams attached to it. This cake has once in a lifetime moments attached to it. See, this isn't just something that's casual. No, this isn't casual cake. This is once in a lifetime cake. This is make a memory cake, right? So when you start, the more you value something, understand you're going to pay more. Like, I'm gonna pay more because it matters more. The value goes up because I value it more. The thing I was telling, I was talking to my bride and I was telling her, I want you to know something. I want you to know your worth and your value. And I told her, you are worth my whole life. Right? Like, why do I say that? I mean, I say that because the Bible says that the husband is to love his wife like Christ loves the church and gave himself for her. So Christ gave himself for the church. And the Bible says that's how husbands are to love wives, right? Like, this is how you love your wife, like Christ loved the church. And when you start thinking about it, you're like, wait, Christ, like on the cross, like he was beaten beyond recognition as a man. Like Christ paid the ultimate price for the bride, his bride, the church. Okay. And so when we understand that, like, okay, I'm like, no, you're worth my whole life. That I would lay down my life for you, even physically. That's the value that you have. And so when we start to understand value and price, it makes sense. Like, I value so much. I value you so much that I'm willing to pay this price for you. That it might cost my whole life. Or I value you so much, and it might not be the physical cost of my life, but I value you so much that I can lay down aspects of my life for you. No, I value you more important than that. So no, I don't need to do that. I value you more. I can lay down my life in that way for you because I value you that much. And so when you're looking at your life, ask yourself that same question. Have you found that aspiration, that dream where you're saying, I'm willing now to lay down my life for that? And laying down your life can look like this. Let's go back to the physical. I like to address the physical first. Why? Because it's the most superficial level, right? So let's look at the most superficial level. If you if you can say, right now, I'm not in the shape that I want to be in. Okay, I'm not in the physical shape that I want to be in, and I want change. You can put me in the comments, right? So just say me, right? I'm not in the shape that I want to be in. I would like to be in a better physical condition. I want to get healthier. Like, that's me. All right. So here's what it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you change. Thank you for sharing. Here's the deal. You cannot say truthfully that you want change and keep everything the same. You can't say you want your body to change and keep everything the same. That just doesn't work. So if you want your body to change, listen, we're not going to stress out about this. We're going to take this nice and easy. You want your body to change. Know this. You are going to change. You're going to change your eating habits. You will change your activity level. You will change the way that you sleep. You'll change your hydration, right? These are things that will change. If you want to become a healthier person, these are some basic aspects of life that you will change, because what you'll say to yourself is, what I've been doing has brought me to this condition. If I want a different condition, I must change, or else I'm going to stay in this condition. Super simple, right? This is super simple. It makes sense. There's no pressure. You don't need to be stressed. You don't need to do it all right now. But you do need to know the vision that you have for yourself is going to require change. And it's good because you don't get to change and stay the same. Imagine. This is why saying I do to yourself is so important. Imagine, let's put it back on me though. Put it back on me. Imagine if I get married, right? We have this wedding ceremony and we're married. Imagine if the two of us say, we got married, but we're going to continue to act as if we are single. Wait, what? That's not, that is not, that's not, that's not going to be supportive of the marriage. So many of us say we want change, and we want to still act the same. If you're committing, then be committed. We're committing. We're going to stand up before these people. We're going to be committed, and we're making this decision. So then we're saying yes to something, and then we're saying no to something. And it's okay. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. If we think about it through the lens of wedding, like, it makes sense. You want to be healthier? Yeah, I want to be healthier. Okay, let's marry it. Marry the moment. Okay? Marry the dream. Say I do. Okay, yeah, I can do that. You can say I do. You can say I do. All right, fantastic. So now that you said I do to the dream, I do. Your dream is saying, do you want me? And you say, yes, I do. Then what happens is you're going to say, well, then, since I say I do, since I say I commit, I'm changing immediately. Like how long, how long does a person have? What, like, we think we can just put it off, right? Don't do that. Think about it like you're thinking about me. All right, Brian's getting married. How long do I have after I get married to realize that I'm married? To realize that I made the commitment? Do I get to be like, all right, hey girl, we just got married, but I have a few dates lined up with other women. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to go out and I'm going to do that because, oh, hey, how about this? Can I have some cheat days? I know we married now, we're committed, but can I have some cheat days? What? No. Like, no, no, you're committed. And so what you're thinking is the same for you in any area of your life. If you're going to commit to starting your business, start it. Start taking action. You want to get closer with God? I want to read my Bible more. Do it. Do it. Just do it. Don't say I don't have time. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. The moments that you took to say you don't have time, you wasted time because you had time to say that. Just do it. I want to get healthier. Do it. Take a walk. Get on the floor. Do some push-ups. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to go in and start crushing full workouts, but you can do something. You want to change your body? Here, let me show you. Let me see something here. I'll be right back. 1 second. All right, I'm coming back. All right, 1 second here. So you want to change your body? Let me show you how simple this is. Okay. So you want to change your body. You're like, Brian, I want to change my body. I just don't know what to do. Okay, fine. If you can take your hands, right, and just start pushing them up, okay, that's one level. You're making change. But you might say, oh, that's not enough. And so I have little pink dumbbells, right? Because these are for my niece. They're 1 pound. If I go from doing this with nothing in my hands, and then I add these two dumbbells to my hands, okay. Well, now I've went from nothing to 1 pound. And you might say, well, that's not a lot. But guess what? Not a lot is. Not a lot is still more than doing nothing. If you were doing nothing, you can do something. Only if you only do that one thing, you're still doing more. If you say, I'm going to do that every day, I'm going to do 100 of these shoulder presses every day. 100. Okay. I'm going to do 100. I'm committed. I'm making a commitment. I'm doing it. And then maybe on day 31, you're like, I'm gonna add something to this. I'm gonna add in squats. I'm gonna do 100 squats. I'm gonna do 100 shoulder press. But I can't work out and do the same thing every day. Yes, you can. You're fine. You're totally fine. You can do the same 100 shoulder presses. You could do 100 squats every day. You'll be fine. You know how I know? Because there are people that do the same actions. They nail nails and hit nails. Like, it's fine. You're gonna be fine. You're not gonna hurt yourself. You're fine. But guess what? Between this 1 pound and this, well, this black weight, this is 2 pounds. And so if you start to feel like 1 pound is not enough, then you find that you're like, I can go to the next level. I can do these 100 times. Fine. But guess what? Stop telling yourself that you can't or that you don't. Like, oh, no, I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't have that. No, no, no. You have what you need to start. The breath in your lungs mean that you can start right now moving towards your next level. Pick out one action and do it. Start becoming, you want to be healthy in your future? Start becoming that person now. Start doing what healthy people do. And I'm not just talking physically at this moment. If you want to become healthier in your relationships, start doing what healthy people in healthy relationships do. Just a couple hours ago, I was with my bride to be and her dad and her aunt, and we were having dinner. And so we're in the kitchen, we're having dinner, and we're sitting around the table. And so before we go to sit around the table, I take my phones and I put them in the other room. I turn off the ringers. I put them in the other room. And we sit down and we hold hands and I pray for the table and I pray for the food and we eat and we talk. But this is not just something that happens once. This happens every time that we eat together. We sit down, we hold hands, we pray, we eat, and we talk. We look at each other and we talk around the table. Why? Because it's a healthy behavior. It's a healthy practice. It's what healthy relationships look like. We talk. I take the distraction, I put it somewhere else. I'm not going to look at my phone. Why? Because I want to be here and present with you. I want to communicate with you. I want to be connected with you. So we sit and we talk. We talk about the day, we talk about experiences, we talk about what's going on, and we talk. And so when you want a healthier relationship, then you start to practice health. Again, this is why I think the physical is so important. When you begin to master your physical being and really study yourself and learn yourself, it helps you everywhere because if you notice, we use terms such as, oh, this is such an unhealthy relationship, or I feel so weak when it comes to my boundaries. Right? We use physical terms, weak, unhealthy. When we start to learn our physical beings, about health, if we start to learn our wellness, our mental well-being, if we start to learn strength, then we can incorporate those principles in other areas of life. Right? Like when we understand nourishment, I know that sitting at the table together, talking, nourishes our relationship. It helps our relationship to be stronger, to sit together and talk, to look at one another, to be in the presence of one another. That helps us to be stronger. It nourishes us. So then we want to do those practices and behaviors that are nourishing. Does it cost something? Yes, it costs something. It costs you to sit and develop a healthy relationship. It's going to cost you to become a healthier person physically. It's going to cost you to develop a stronger relationship with God. It's going to cost you to start and launch your business. It will cost you to become the whole person that you're meant to be. It will cost you. But how much do you value that? Aren't you worth that value? I think you are. That's why I was with my bride to be. It was 7 o'clock. Well, it's about six. It was 6:53, and so at 6:53, I'm with her. I said, "What time is it?" She said, "I don't know." So I go and I look. 6:53, and I know it's going to take me about 25 minutes to get from out where she lives to where I live. And she knows tonight is Wednesday. This is Wedding Wednesday. We're going to have Wedding Wednesday talk at 8 o'clock. She knows. So I needed to leave. I'm like, 6:53. I'm enjoying being with you. I need to go. Because I have a commitment to the community. Like, and it's our community. I don't say like I have a commitment to my community. No, because her and I, we are one. So you haven't met her, but she's a part of this community too. So for her, she said, "This is our community." I'm like, no, I have a commitment to our community. So at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, they know it's Wedding Wednesday. So I'm gonna show up at 8 o'clock. So I need to leave, even though I'm enjoying being with you. I need to go because I need to prepare and I need to be present. Why? Because I value you so much that I pay the price of even leaving her in order to serve. Right? So it's not just one side. It's not that, oh, my whole life is only about her. No. When you have a vision, you will pay the price in many different ways. Sometimes it's you're paying a price so you can develop your personal relationship. Sometimes you're paying a price so you can develop your business. Sometimes you pay a price so you can develop your health. Sometimes you pay a price so you can develop your spirit. But there's always a price to be paid, and it's based off of value. I value the opportunity that you give me to show up and serve you, to encourage you. I value seeing your names come up on the screen. I value that. So I say, you're worth it to me to pay that price. I value your life that much. I believe that God gives me an opportunity to serve you so that you can become what your best self is, so that I can encourage you. I value that. So I pay the price. I listen, I pay the price, right? And it shows up just so we can talk about this for a moment. When you're thinking about the people that you serve, know that you're going to pay the price before before they do. Like I pay the price. I buy equipment so that I could better serve. Last few days I've ordered some new equipment. There's some different pieces that I wanted so that I could take my capacity to serve to another level. So I want to be able to serve on a higher level. I want more clear communication with the microphones and some technical physical equipment. I want to be able to serve. I want to be able to serve the community at a higher level. So I invested in some equipment so that I can better serve. That's a part of it. That's a part of what you do. You're going to pay a price, and it's a good price. Why? Because now we're going to go back and remember that we have a vision. You have something that you see. I see, and I've shared with you, like I see a global sisterhood developing, growing. I see it. I see women wearing certain apparel. I see women meeting other women and seeing that apparel, and they're so excited because they're like, I, I'm a part of that too. And there's a bond and there's connection because now a woman looks at another woman and she says, I know that you're on that path to grow and develop and become your whole self. I know what path you're on. I'm a part of that too. And so there's community and connection. I see it, right? And because I see it, I'm like, I'm investing in that. I'm showing up for that. The women that are in this environment, like I see you developing and growing. And so as it continues to grow, as it continues to develop, then the investment is, oh, well, I value you, so I'm going to invest more in to being able to serve you. I just want to do it on a higher level. I want to do it on a better level. I want to do it more efficiently. I see you. And so when you see your vision, that's what it's going to do. When you really created an aspiration of actionable appeal, that's what it will change you. This woman that I saw, I saw her physically, but then I started to have a dream about her. I started to have a future vision of her, and oh, I see her now not only as my friend, now I see her as my wife. And now because I see her as my wife, it's changing me, operating different. When you start to see your life differently, it'll change you. You're going to operate differently because of what you see. People, they won't even get it. They're like, oh, I don't understand. Why are you this way? You just have to tell them, listen, I have a vision. I see something and it's changing me. I was in the grocery store 2 days ago and I was there and I was getting myself some watermelons. And yes, it's watermelon season. So make sure you get seeded watermelons. Okay. You want the seeds. That's good for you. So I'm in the grocery store and there's this woman and she's there and she's looking real pregnant. And I was just noticing how she was just touching and holding her belly. Right. She's looking at celery or cucumbers or something. But she was holding and touching her belly, rubbing her belly. There was an awareness of what she's birthing. She wanted to be in touch with it. She wanted to be connected with that baby that was inside of her. That there was something in her that says, what's going on inside of me, I want to be in touch with it. That's vision. She wasn't looking at her belly, but through her hands, she was touching and feeling the vision. She's feeling that baby. And so right now in your life, I get it. There's some dreams that you have. You've been talking yourself out of it a little bit. You've been playing it a little cautious because you're playing it safe, right? You're playing it safe. I don't want to dream too big. I don't want to go too far. I'm playing it safe. Let me just encourage you. That's not what the dream is for. That dream that you feel inside of you, that thing that you see, that's your invitation to get out of the safe zone. That's the opportunity. That's why you feel the way you do about it. The reason that you have the reason why your dream has that emotional impact on you is because it is calling you out of a place and into a new place. It's calling you into the unknown, like the Disney song. Well, I think it's Disney. Into the unknown. But it's calling you out. And so it can be scary and exciting, but guess what? Fear and excitement, they feel the same inside of your system. So it is that people oftentimes think like, what's my calling? That thing, that dream, that idea, that image, that vision, it is a calling. It is calling you out of where you are into a higher level, into a different place. It's calling you into change. So it's your dream is disruptive. Your dream is disrupting your norms, and it should. It's good. Your dream is, you need a disruptive dream. I need to write that down. You need a disruptive dream, something that disturbs your right now. It disturbs your daily. If your dream doesn't disturb your daily, what are you really even talking about? Then you're just saying, I'm going to stick with what I have. No, no, no. Your dream is, it disturbs your daily. It is disruptive to your norms. Okay. And that's what you want. I went to a place today and talked to them about an event that's happening later on next month. It disrupts the norm because it's saying, listen, I want to remind you that there's something happening in the future and I want you to prepare for it. And so that's what we're doing. We're preparing for it. We're telling them, here are the instructions. Why? Because there are some other people that are going to be involved with it. They need to be prepared for it. The chef. See, look, here's how good this is. Your dream, do you realize that your dream, when you start to move on it, will activate the dreams of others that are around you? See, because we have a dream to get married, then it activates other people. It activates the guy that operates the venue. It activates the people that are going to set it up. It activates the chef. It activates the kitchen staff. It activates the photographer. It activates the wedding cake people. It activates the DJ. So your dream has the power to start activating other people. It's disruptive. Your dream is disruptive, but that's all good. Your vision is for you. It's working for you. It's working on you, and it's also working for you. Oh, yeah, it's working on you. It's causing you to be different. Don't think that you can have the dream and be the same. No, no, no. Mm-mm. No, you're saying I do. You're saying I do to changing. Like, do you want change? What's your answer? I do. Do you want your next level? I do. Do you want to experience the greatest visions that you've had? I do. I do. Do you have time? I do. Do you have the commitment that it takes? I do. Just you need to say I do more often. Trust me on this one. This is what you want. You want to say I do more. You want that because it'll change your entire life. And so this is what you want. And so I just want to encourage you on this wedding Wednesday that it's time for you to take action. It's time for you to make the proposal, right? What's the proposal? The proposal is the presentation of a greater vision. The proposal is the presentation of an idea. But in this case, we're having a greater idea. So this is the proposal for a greater idea. You want to see yourself in a greater way, you make the proposal to yourself in what's called a vision. Like here, self, I have a vision. Here's what it is. This is what I propose. I propose that we are going to launch our podcast. We're going to start our business. We are going to get married. We are going to read through the whole Bible. We are going to go back to the gym. I have a proposal, self. Here's my proposal. I see us, me and you, self, in the future, and we're healthy, we're strong, we're more committed to the Bible, we're a 10-figure earner in business, whatever it is. When you make that proposal, you're proposing your greater self. You're like, I propose that we can be greater. And then you ask yourself, do you accept this proposal? And then you answer yourself and you say, I do. I do accept the proposal to become the greatest version of myself. That's the question. Do you accept that proposal to become the strongest version of yourself? The most fulfilled version of yourself. Do you accept that proposal? When you answer I do to that, then your whole life changes. So I hope this wedding Wednesday has been an encouragement to you and that you realize that with 2 words, you can make a commitment to change your entire life. But you have to accept the proposal that you present to yourself through a vision that you get to see yourself. See, Susie said it, Susie Smith. She says, I accept the proposal of the vision of being my greater self. I do. Not only did she accept it, Susie wrote it down. Just made it clear. Wrote the vision, made it clear. I accept that proposal. She made the proposal to herself. She accepts it. So then, guess what? Now, where's the accountability? Like, I'm accountable to myself. I made this commitment to myself. Self, you're worthy of this. Self, you are worth the effort. Self, I want to make sure that we complete this mission. And then you start moving forward and God help me. God send the right people in my life. Build the community around me. Help me say yes. Help me say I do. Help me see differently. So let's pray. Father, thank you for this opportunity to be with each and every person that has been here. Those that are a part of the live, those that are on team replay. Thank you for them. Thank you for the opportunity to serve each and every person that's here into becoming their greatest and strongest self. Thank you for the opportunity to help them become who you created them to be, who you made them to be, who you designed them to be. Thank you for the unlocking of potential, that the seeds that are within us aren't meant to be seeds, but they're meant to become the trees that are fruitful in our seasons. And so I pray that in whatever season that we are in, that we would go through this season and develop in this season so that we can become all that we are meant to be, so that we can fulfill the assignment in our lives, that our lives have worth, our lives have value, and that we get to cooperate with you in making them be fulfilled. That there's responsibility that we have, and we thank you for including us, that we're not robots, that we have choice, that we get to choose your plan, your ways, that we get to choose to take this life and live it in such a way that we serve and impact others and that your name is lifted up. And so I pray for each and every person tonight that they would align with your plan for their life, that your purpose would prevail, and that we would be transformed, made into your image, your likeness, and that we would operate as a representation of you in the earth in all that we say and we do. And we thank you in advance for doing this, believing that we are in alignment with your word. We anticipate great testimonies from this time, and we look forward to seeing lives changed and transformed. And so we thank you for that. Amen. All right. Time for you to say, I do. Take some time today. Take a few minutes, take longer. And allow yourself to have vision. Allow yourself to become innocent like a child again and dream. Dream something big, beautiful, bold that stirs your heart into a place where your face smiles. Dream so big that your face smiles. And then when you get there, don't stop, but say, I do. Make a commitment to it. And then begin your process and journey of transformation. I love you much. I'm B.A. Shepherd, 2 P's, A-R-D, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. See you next time.